welcome to my Ret Pally guide for PvP in 6.23. This is the Purple Pally, and I'm going to go over everything you need to know to PvP as a Ret Pally.
Enjoy!
Alright, we're going to talk about talents. There's a lot of different things you can do in talents, but it's always the same basic structure. I have Pursuit of Justice, which is a constant speed boost, and it increases by 5% for each holy power you have. But I also use Long Arm of the Law, because it gives you 45% speed boost and for 3 seconds, and you're always using Judgment. It's every time you use your Judgment, you get a 45% speed boost. And Fist of Justice, basically the only one you'll take. Sometimes I guess you can take Repentance. It's hard to get off, but you can take it in maybe a 3v3. I use Selfless Healer. A lot of people use Sacred Shield. I prefer Selfless Healer because Flash of Light crits for me pretty often, and when it does, I've gotten as high as 150k heals off an instant Flash of Light because of Selfless Healer. And it's just always nice to have that. It helps me a lot, more survivability. And next I have Clemency, which gives you 2 on all your hands, like your Hands of Sacrifice, Hands of Protection, Hands of Freedom. Which Hands of Freedom is very useful if you're getting kited by range. Just throw that on, get rid of any slows or some snares. Then you got Holy Avenger, pretty much the only one you can take here. It's the only one worth anything. And Execution Sentence. This is great. I don't use it for DPS though. I always save it for self-heal because it's a great self-heal. It's basically the only hot the Ret has, and it's great. You throw that on yourself, keep doing damage, watch your health a little bit, and you'll be great. You can use here either Empowered Seals or Final Verdict. I use Final Verdict because I find it gives you a more powerful burst, but I believe Empowered Seals will do more damage while you're not bursting. It'll help you out a little bit, but I prefer to have that massive burst that Pallies are known for. And now we'll just take a look at my glyphs, which are pretty basic. Some of these can be swapped out from time to time. I swap some of them out. I haven't paid much attention to these, but they're pretty good. You take 10% less damage for 6 seconds after dealing damage with Exorcism or Templar's Verdict, which is pretty good because you use those constantly, and so you'll probably always have a 10% less damage buff on you, and that'll help your healer or yourself if you're 2v2ing. And this is the glyph of Burden of Guilt, which is a great glyph because it slows people down, because melee tend to get kited a lot, and slowing them down help close that gap. Pallies don't really have a problem because they have the Hands of Freedom, but it helps. And then we have Glyph of Ward of Glory, which is an okay glyph. It could probably be changed out for like this Glyph of Avenging Wrath, but if you're in a sticky situation, you heal yourself up with your holy power instead of doing damage, and then you turn around and do damage, and you have 9% more damage that you're doing. Alright, and now we're going to go over gear. So, for gear, You know all the basics. You're gonna need strength and mastery, which mastery will make it so you do more damage with your Crusader Strike, Hammer of Righteousness, Hammer of Wrath, Templar's Verdict, Divine Storm, and your multi-strike. And mastery, you can stack mastery, but what I prefer to do is stack versatility. As you see, I got versatility and chance on everything that I can. And what versatility does is it increases your healing done and decreases damage taken, and also increases your damage. So basically it's just an all-around versatile spec. So as your stats, versatility is my #1 goal. Obviously strength is always going to be taken care of already, because all your armor and gear is going to have strength on it, so you don't really worry about anything. Versatility is just something you want to stack for more survivability and more damage. Although mastery would do more damage in the end, but would lower your survivability. Alright, now I want to talk to you about macros. This is a macro for your empowered seals if you're going to use that, which it's great. 3v3 is pretty good in. 2s, I don't pick it because, like I said, you get less burst out of it than this, and this has plenty of range on it. They can be a couple yards away from you and it works great. So what this is going to do is basically what it's going to do is it's a cast sequence, and it's going to cast your Seal of Righteousness, which is this, and that's going to give you 20% movement speed. Then you're going to Judgment, and on your next Judgment, it's going to, see, there's your Judgment, it's going to cast Seal of Truth, and Seal of Truth will give you 15% attack power, which is once again good. This is why I think it would be a good long-term fighting solution, but in like 2s, I usually pick this. Once again, higher burst. And then it's going to switch, and you can see what all these do. But that's what it's going to do. It's just going to switch. It's going to go Seal of Righteousness, Judgment, Seal of Truth, Judgment, Seal of Justice, Judgment, and it's going to start all over again. And then you just replace that with your Judgment, that macro, which I have it over here right now because I'm not using it. But you just replace it with that, and it'll just go through it. The only thing you're going to have to do is get used to hitting Judgment twice, which I already mash Judgment when I'm about to do Judgment, so it was no challenge for me at all. Alright, and then we have this one, which this is a Hand of Protection macro. So basically it's just a cast macro, and it will target whoever's name you put here. You can also put party 1 or party 2 if you have it set up for that, and then you just do that. You can just pause it and look at it and see that. This is my self-target execution sentence. So I don't have to switch back and forth, because every second you shave off of your 2v2s or 3v3s, switching between people and clicking, that's another second you can be doing damage, or another second you could be CCing or something like that. And so this, just pause and look at that. And this is my burst. It's nothing special. It's just Avenging Wrath, which is your main, just your wings. Then you got Holy Avenger down here, and Hammer of Wrath. I just threw that in there. And that's pretty much it for macros. You can get a couple more. I also have the CC macro, which it will cast my Fists of Justice on whoever I have set focus. So say you're CCing the healer, you want to attack the DPS in a 3v3, but you need that healer to be CC'd. So you just set her focus, or him focus, whoever, and keep attacking your target. You just go down here, click your CC macro, it'll stun them without changing targets. That shaves a couple seconds off your time, maybe stops you from being disoriented when trying to switch between targets. There's a lot of stuff going on in 3v3s.
Alright, let's go over the basic rotation. Basic rotation is what I use is just in order 1, 2, 3 is Exorcism, Judgment, and Crusader Strike. And then I use Final Verdict, and you use Hammer of Wrath whenever up, and then your secondary is Final Verdict. So if you're using Long Arm of the Law though, the first one you're going to want to use is probably Judgment, so you can get that speed boost right away. And then Exorcism, Crusader Strike, Final Verdict. That's basically it. That's your basic rotation. But now I'll show you some gameplay.
Alright, so right here I'm running with a Disc Priest, and we see that they have a healer. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go straight for the healer before that Feral can pop. I'm going to stun him, pop my burst immediately. And as you see, his health's dropping pretty fast. And my healer feared the DPS, and right here he's silenced. As you saw back there, I used Arcane Torrent to stop him right out of the stun from casting any spells, and he was dead before the druid even popped. Alright, so what's going on here is doing a skirmish, and I happen to be with a Boomkin. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight for the healer. I'm going to CC the DPS so that she can't damage me while I'm trying to go for the healer. Drop him pretty fast. He's silenced by the druid and he bubbles immediately, so we hard switch to the DPS, this warlock. And then after he comes out of bubble, I notice he's casting a little bit. We switch directly to him and just burst him down. He's dead within seconds. Alright, what we got here is Monk Healer, and this one takes a minute because I don't kill him on my initial burst like I planned to. I almost get him, but he gets away, as monks do. And so I'm just going to fast forward through this a little bit, and I'll slow it down when I need to explain something. A good thing to remember when fighting healers is to interrupt, because we have Rebuke, and as a Blood Elf I also have Arcane Torrent, and they're great interrupts, and you can lock them out of their healing spells for a couple seconds, and that could mean the difference between life and death of a healer, is if you lock their spells. Another good thing to do is to work with your partner. As I work with Disc, I have him silence or fear as needed. We talk and we communicate so that he has his silence on him when I'm ready to burst, or he has it ready when my CCs are down, because the best thing to do to a healer is to stop them from healing at all costs. Just CC them, silence them, do whatever you need to do, interrupt them. So right here is where I actually get the stun off, and as you see I just burst right through his bubble and kill him with that 51k crit. healer is about to take quite a bit of damage, so what I do is I turn around and I stun the warrior, and that's peeling him off the healer, giving him more time to bring his health back up and giving him more of a chance of being able to survive longer. So basically in these long drawn out healer fights, it's basically not who can kill who the fastest, it's really who can survive the longest.
We'll conclude our video. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment if I missed anything or got something wrong. We're going to be doing more duel videos, some 2v2s, 3v3s, some duel guides, some more class guides. Just like and subscribe. I'm going to try and do this every week.